Before Muhammad fled to Medina, the event known as Mirage occurred, during which Muhammad is said to have met Allah along with other prophets. Upon his return, he shared the story with the people. However, despite the extraordinary nature of his claim, many of his followers abandoned Islam. This raises the question, why did even the most devoted followers lose faith? In our ongoing series about Muhammad, we've discussed his actions following the death of Khadija, his wife. He reportedly told her to greet his other wives in heaven, which some viewed as a betrayal of her memory. Around this time, his uncle, Abu Talib, also passed away. It was in the midst of these events that the incident of Mirage took place. Roughly a month after Khadija's death, one night, Muhammad mysteriously vanished. His disappearance caused concern, and people searched for him but could not locate him. When he reappeared the following morning, a significant number of his followers lost trust in him, causing them to leave Islam. This leads to speculation about what occurred that night. Where had Muhammad gone, and what condition was he in upon being found? To address the situation, Muhammad introduced the story of Mirage. Let's delve into this incident in its entirety.
Quran chapter 17 verse 1, Holy is he who took his servant by night from the sacred mosque, in Mecca, to the farther mosque, in Jerusalem, whose surroundings we have blessed, so that we might show him some of our signs. Indeed, he alone is all-hearing, all-seeing.
The verse presents an intriguing point. Allah intended to reveal signs to Muhammad. However, many people who sacrificed their families to embrace Islam could have greatly benefited from these signs. If they had been shown to them, Islam might have spread more easily. Yet, this did not occur. The story of the night journey describes how Muhammad reportedly traveled from Mecca to Jerusalem and then ascended to paradise, all in a single night. According to Muhammad, this event took place a few years before the migration to Medina. One night, while Muhammad was asleep, the angel Jibreel woke him and instructed him to come outside to the Masjid Haram. There, a creature named Barak, resembling a winged donkey, awaited him. Barak carried Muhammad to Jerusalem, and from there, he ascended to the seventh heaven. However, the narrative raises several contradictions. For example, the story claims that upon arriving in Jerusalem, Muhammad met previous prophets and led them in prayer. Yet, at the time, there was no mosque or temple in Jerusalem. The Temple of Solomon had been destroyed long before, and neither the Al-Aqsa Mosque nor the Dome of the Rock existed during Muhammad's life. This raises the question, where in Jerusalem did Muhammad and the prophets pray together? The tale continues with Muhammad ascending to the heavens, a story that seems more akin to an Islamic fable than a historical account. The numerous logical inconsistencies make the story difficult to accept upon closer scrutiny. Muhammad returned to Mecca that same night, and the following morning, he shared the entire account with the Quraysh. However, many hadiths highlight the controversies surrounding the Mirage incident, which led to a significant number of early Muslims abandoning their faith. Some scholars, including Ibn Hisham, suggest that many people found the story implausible. For example, a journey from Mecca to Jerusalem by camel typically took a month, yet Muhammad claimed to have completed it in a single night. This discrepancy caused many early followers to question their belief, concluding that they had been following a false prophet. Despite being an era where miracles were often attributed to prophets, the Mirage story led to disillusionment among many Muslims. Why did this event result in so much skepticism? Why did Muhammad fail to substantiate his claims with evidence? Was he perhaps caught in a falsehood? Many didn't even feel compelled to ask for proof anymore. Beyond being a fantastical tale, the Mirage story also connects to Muhammad's early love, Hani, the daughter of his uncle Abu Talib. Delving deeper into this story might reveal more about what truly transpired. Similar to Muhammad's prophecy, the story of the Mirage contains a recurring theme. Muhammad himself did not initially claim the incident. He was not actively sharing the story with people, rather, he was offering an explanation for his sudden disappearance during the night. Many Muslims mistakenly believe the significance of the Mirage lies in Muhammad receiving the 5 daily prayers, namaz, during this event. However, prayers had already been practiced by Muslims since Muhammad's prophecy began. In fact, Muhammad stated that before the heavenly journey, he had performed the night prayer in Jerusalem. The hadith of Ibn Ishaq provides further insights, revealing that Muhammad's early companions had been secretly praying in Mecca for many years prior to the Mirage. This secrecy often led to violent clashes, which are detailed in this series. Moreover, hadiths disclose that at the time of Muhammad's prophecy, when he was 40 years old, the angel Jibril visited both Muhammad and Khadijah. During this visit, Jibril taught them the complete method for performing namaz and wudu, ablution. Thus, the Mirage does not hold significance in this context either. Let us now turn to the story of Hani, the daughter of Muhammad's uncle, Abu Talib. Muhammad had a deep affection for her and desired to marry her, but Abu Talib declined the proposal. According to the hadith of Sirat, as narrated by Ibn Ishaq, Hani herself recounted that during the night of the Miraj, Muhammad stayed at her house. He rested there, performed the Isha prayer, and went to sleep. They both fell asleep afterward. When examining the hadith from Tabaqat by Ibn Sa'd, it becomes clear that something unusual occurred that night. Muhammad suddenly vanished, and despite an extensive search, he could not be found. This incident ultimately led to the creation of the story of Miraj. According to Tabaqat, Muhammad's sudden disappearance caused great concern among his family. His uncle Abbas, along with other members of the Banu Hashim clan, including the sons of Abdul Muttalib, actively searched for him, calling out his name. Eventually, they located Muhammad, and when questioned about where he had been all night, he claimed to have visited Baitul Maqdis, Jerusalem. This event later became known as the miraculous night journey of Miraj. A hadith from Bukhari describes how the journey of Miraj began in the Hatim, an area near the Kaaba, where Muhammad was reportedly sleeping between Hazrat Hamza and Hazrat Jafar. According to the hadith, Muhammad was suddenly transported from that location on the celestial animal Buraq, marking the beginning of his journey to the heavens. Upon his return, it is said that he was dropped off at the house of Hani. Additionally, Tariq Yaqubi recounts that Muhammad claimed the angel Gabriel brought him the Buraq, which carried him to the skies. After completing the heavenly journey, he was reportedly returned to Hani's residence, further shaping the narrative surrounding the Miraj. Tariq Yaqubi also reveals that Muhammad's disappearance caused deep anxiety for Abu Talib, who feared that Muhammad might have been captured or harmed by the Quraysh, as they were known to be troubled by his teachings. In response, Abu Talib gathered the sons of Abdul Muttalib to search for Muhammad during the night. When a group of armed individuals gathered, they witnessed Muhammad emerging from Hani's house. Upon being confronted, he resorted to fabricating the story of marriage to save himself. He narrated the incident in a way that, even though he had been seen outside Hani's house, he insisted he had not spent the night there. To lend credibility to his claims, certain details were incorporated into the narrations and hadiths to make the story appear miraculous and believable. For instance, when people demanded proof of Muhammad's journey the next morning, he claimed that during his journey from Mecca to Jerusalem, he encountered a caravan whose camel had broken its bridle and run away. Muhammad further stated that he drank water from their jar while they were asleep, and when they woke, the caravan returned with 2 camels. Curious about his claims, the people climbed a nearby mountain to verify the story. They found the caravan Muhammad had mentioned and, upon questioning its members, they confirmed that their water jar had indeed gone missing and one of their camels had broken its bridle and run away. But does this anecdote truly validate Muhammad's story? If we accept this incident as true, it leads to a glaring contradiction in the scriptures. It is documented that many people abandoned Islam after the event, and even those who remained believers began referring to Muhammad as a false prophet. This would not have occurred if Muhammad had successfully provided undeniable proof of the marriage. Ultimately, after 14 centuries, such evidence cannot serve as definitive proof of the Miraj. If it had been established that Muhammad spent the night with Hamza and Jafar, then mysteriously vanished only to later reappear at Hani's house, it could suggest that after being caught, he invented the story of marriage. He then claimed that his journey was physical and that he had not been present in Mecca that night. The story of the marriage was so contentious that Allah revealed a verse to validate it, stating that Muhammad's journey to heaven was meant as a test of the believer's faith. However, if Allah truly exists, He could have chosen to present Muhammad to the people as a test of their faith. Following this event, a significant number of people abandoned Islam, while those who remained did so with lingering doubts, viewing Muhammad with suspicion. Despite widespread skepticism, there was one individual who accepted the story wholeheartedly: Abu Bakr. News of the incident quickly spread, and people approached Abu Bakr, questioning his faith in Muhammad. They mocked him, asking, "Do you still believe in your friend?" Many considered him naive and ridiculed him for his unwavering trust. Nonetheless, Abu Bakr steadfastly believed in Muhammad and continued to support him. Muhammad often leveraged Abu Bakr's loyalty, as evidenced in previous discussions. For example, when Muhammad claimed it was Allah's command to marry a 6-year-old girl, Abu Bakr also had to accept this claim without question. The marriage story describes how, shortly after Khadija's death, Muhammad visited the house of Hani, his first love. He spent the night there, and when people saw him leaving her residence, suspicion arose. As was often the case, Muhammad invoked divine support, fabricating the story of the marriage to counter their doubts. Consider for a moment that the namaz, his daily prayers, observed by Muslims 5 times a day, stem from this very story, a narrative rooted in what appears to be Muhammad fulfilling his personal desires. Yet, this is not uncommon. Religious tales often serve the personal interests of individuals, though many may not realize it. However, continuing such practices solely to satisfy one's ego can result in unchecked arrogance. When something surpasses what is truly needed, it ceases to benefit either the individual or society.